Guru do you have anybody there? Sham Sindhu Peru there?
Nobody here.
Okay, I'll begin. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paripurajaka Stotra Satashi Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamana Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Welcome, everybody, to Caitanya Caritamrita reading with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Thursday, December 25th, 2025. We are beginning with Caitanya Caritamrita Adi Lila, Chapter 17, Text 296. Guru Maharaj, do you want to begin?
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vatsalya Dasya Shokya Tino Bhavamoy She Nityananda Krishna Chaitanya Sahai. Sri Nityananda Prabhu, always feels the ecstatic emotions of paternity, servitude, and friendship. He always assists Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in that way. Prema Bhakti Diyateho Pashala Jagate tar choditra loke na pade bhujite. Sri Nityananda Prabhu overflooded the entire world by distributing transcendental loving service. No one can understand his character and activities. Advaita Charya Gosai Bhakta Avatar Krishna Avatariya Koila Bhaktir Prachar. Srila Advaita Charya Prabhu appeared as an incarnation of a devotee. He is in the category of Krishna, but he descended to this earth to propagate devotional service. Sakya Dasya Dvi Bhav Sohaj Tahar Kavu Prabhu Koren Tare Guru Vyavahar. His natural emotions were always on the platform of fraternity and servitude, but sometimes the Lord treated him as spiritual master. Shriva Shadi Jata Mahaprabhur Bhaktagon Nijo Bhave Koren Chaitanya Sevan. All the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, headed by Srivas Thakur, have their own emotional humors in which they render service unto him. Pandit Gosai Adi Jar.
Maharaj, can I ask something?
Yes, please.
On text 298, regarding Srila Advaita Acharya Prabhu, it writes, he is in the category of Krishna. Is that referring to Advaita Acharya Prabhu?
Yes. The Advaita Acharya Gosai Bhakta Avatar, Krishna Avatariya Koila Bhaktir Prachar. In the Panchatattva, as we're, well, first of all, Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Shaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtite Deshatane. In the Panchatattva, we have five persons. In the center is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then on his left, we have Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu. And on his right, we have Srivas Thakur and Gadadhar Prabhu. So on the left, the persons are all Vishnu Tattva, and on the right, they're all Shakti Tattva, the Lord's energies. So Nityananda Prabhu is Krishna, and Advaita Prabhu is also Krishna. Just as Balaram is also Krishna, Nityananda Prabhu is also Krishna, or not different from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They're Krishna himself appearing in different forms. So Krishna appears in the form of Advaita Acharya, Krishna appears in the form of Nityananda Prabhu. Then on the right side, Gadadhar is not Krishna. He's the energy of Krishna. And the Srivas Thakur, he's also not Krishna. He's the energy of Krishna. In one sense, the energy of Krishna is also Krishna. Everything is Krishna. Even the material energy is also Krishna. Everything is non-different from Krishna. But still we distinguish, as we distinguish between the sun and the sunshine, we distinguish between Krishna and his energy. So Advaita and Nityananda Prabhu are Krishna, and Gadadhar and Srivas are energies of Krishna. Then they all come to spread devotional service, but they come in their respective roles. They're all one, Panchatattva. Although they're five, they're all one. They're all Krishna, ultimately. Just as Radha Krishna is also Krishna with his energy, or the sun is the sun with its energy. So Panchatattvas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada titles the chapter Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in 5 features. Krishna with his in his original form, Krishna as the form of incarnation, Krishna form of his expansion, Krishna in form of his devotional energy, Krishna in the form of the devotee. So they're all together Krishna, but they have their individual distinct identities. Is that okay? Does that clarify things somewhat?
One point I'm confused on is that it seems like in the category of Krishna and in the category of energy, you have those who are in the mood of service, both categories. So how does that make sense?
How does?
How does that make sense that in the category of Krishna and the category of the energy of Krishna, you have those serving the
Yes.
original?
Although, just like Balaram, although he's Krishna, he serves Krishna. He thinks of himself as Krishna's servant, although he's Krishna. Nityananda Prabhu, he's not different from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he thinks himself servant of Nityananda Prabhu. The Advaita Acharya, he's Krishna, but his mood is that I'm servant of Krishna. So even Krishna, in his different features, takes on different roles. Just as he plays as a cowherd boy, he plays as a king, he plays as a fish, he plays all these different roles. He assumes all these different roles. So in Chaitanya Lila also, the Krishna, in his different features, assumes different roles. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's in the role of the original personality of Godhead, although he also takes the mood of a devotee. And they all take the mood of devotees. But Advaita Acharya takes the mood of the servant of Chaitanya. Therefore, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Advaita Acharya is older, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu treats him respectfully. You're my senior. And Advaita Acharya is becoming disturbed that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is my worshipable Lord, but he's always treating me like a senior. So then he devised some means that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be angry at him and chastise him. Then Advaita Acharya was very happy. So just like Krishna appears as Lord Ramchandra, that along with Ramchandra, Bharat and Lakshman, Shatrughna. So they're all Vishnu Tattva. The Lakshman is also Vishnu Tattva, just as Lord Ram is. But Lakshman always takes the role of the assistant. He always takes the role of the assistant of Lord Ramchandra. Bharat, he takes the role of the servant of Ram, although he's also Vishnu Tattva, but he feels that I'm the subordinate of Lord Ram. So the Vishnu Tattvas are capable of, they have their distinct personalities. When Krishna appears as a fish, he's not thinking, where's my flute? Where are my gopis? Where's my Vrindavan? He's has his own individuality, although he's not different from Krishna. So in this way, this is, what would we say, an opulence or display of the opulence of Krishna, that he can appear in different forms, and each form has its own individual identity. The yogis, when they appear in expanded forms, which they can do up to, say, 6 or 8 forms, but each form is like a television expansion. You watch a television show and there, 8,000 or, 8 million people watching the same show. So when the host raises his hand, then 8 million hosts are raising their hand. But they're all the same. They're not differently constituted. It's the same host seen in 8 million homes. So the yogis, when they expand like that. Each expansion has to exactly act like the other expansions. But Krishna, when he expands in such a way that each expansion is independently constituted. So each expansion has its own identity. Sometimes Krishna expands in such a way that all of the expansions appear identical. In the rasa dance, Krishna does that. And sometimes he does it in such a way that there's some difference. Krishna expands as Balaram. Balaram appears different from Krishna and has different sentiments, different moods. Krishna is dancing on Kalyanag, and everybody's overcome with, all the Brajbasis who've come there are overcome with grief. And Balaram's there and he's amused because he knows that what can some snake do to my brother? So Krishna's in the water playing his drama with Kaliya, and Balaram's on the shore and appreciating in his own way. Although it's the same person, Krishna or Balaram is the same identical person, but manifests in different ways. We can't force them. No, Balaram, you're also Krishna. You have to also be blue. You also have to act exactly like. No, Balaram's a little different. We can't demand of Lord Ramchandra, you have to play a flute because you're Krishna. No, you're Krishna, but in a different mood. So you have your bow and arrow, you have your royal role to play. So this is Krishna. He's one absolute truth, appearing in diversity. He's appearing in diversity. And therefore there's greater enjoyment. Krishna takes different roles. And in each role, he is the supreme enjoyer. But he's enjoying in different ways. So in Chaitanya Lila also, Krishna's there as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's also there as Advaita Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. But Advaita and Nityananda are playing different roles, different from each other and different from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Srivas and Gadadhar, they're also Krishna, but in a different expansion. The energy, Advaita and Nityananda are the energetic, the supreme source of everything. And Srivas and Gadadhar are the energy of Krishna. Energy is also Krishna, but also different from Krishna, or tiny fragmental manifestations of Krishna. So Gadadhar and Srivas take the role of energy, tiny or large, but energy of Krishna. So their energy together with the source of energy are complete. The sun is not different from the sunshine. So Srivas and Gadadhar are not different from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And yet they're a different kind of manifestation. Each manifestation is individual. How are we doing? Is that a little clearer?
Yes. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Okay. These are important questions, important matters to be cleared up. And in this section of Chaitanya Charitamrita, in these verses, Kaviraj Goswami is clarifying we're identifying the different moods that these members of the Panchatattva have. It's said about Advaita Acharya that has the mood of Sakya and Dasya. Sakya means friendship, and Dasya means servitude. So he thinks of himself as a friend of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sometimes treats him as spiritual master. Yes, you have a hand raised.
Yeah. Follow up. Are they aware of who they are when they're performing these earthly pastimes?
Well, that's a good question. Let me think about that just for a moment. They're aware in a certain way. That is to say, they think of themselves in a certain mood. Advaita Acharya's thinks of himself as the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhakta Avatar, he rather Bhakta Avatar, he's the descended form of a devotee. But his mood is that I'm the servant of Lord Chaitanya. He doesn't think I'm as good as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'm just playing. He thinks of himself, I'm the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he's in a particular role, he thinks of himself in that role. He has the full emotions and the full sense that this is who I am. As Ramchandra, again, he's not thinking that actually I'm Krishna, but I've put my flute aside and I'm picked up this bow and arrow. I'm Ramchandra. Sometimes there may be some, just like, anyway, that's a different story. But he thinks that that's in one sense what it means to be someone. You think of yourself as Rasananda, or you think of yourself as Ross. I'm Ross. I'm a PhD student at Mount Sinai. If you were to think that in some other way, then how could you be doing what you're doing? Of course, you, as a devotee, you may be aware, actually, that I'm just the eternal servant of Krishna, and for the time being, I've assumed this temporary material designation as Ross, as a student, as a this or that. That's also true. But in one sense, to be constituted in a non-pathological way, we have a consistent identity. I can't think of myself in terms of what my previous lifetime was. Of course, these are poor comparisons because we're conditioned souls, assuming false designations under the influence of the illusory energy. But Krishna, when he expands himself, thinks of himself, this is who I am. I'm a fish, I'm a tortoise. Of course, he thinks that I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he thinks I'm the tortoise incarnation. Now I'm feeling some itching on my back. So let's do something about that. So even in the material world, the best actors become, practically speaking, the characters they portray. If some actor is playing Hamlet, he doesn't think when he's deep in the role, I'm an actor playing Hamlet. He thinks, my father has been murdered by my uncle, and my mother has married my uncle. He has to uh, assume the role. He has to be immersed in the role. Otherwise, it's superficial. He can't really play. So when Krishna assumes the form of a fish, the form of a tortoise, the form of a king, he's thoroughly absorbed in that mood. He's thoroughly absorbed in that mood. And therefore he behaves according to that. That Ramchandra, there were some sages who were attracted to Lord Ramchandra with a mood of conjugal love. But Lord Ramchandra indicated that in this incarnation, I can't reciprocate with you. In this incarnation, I have one wife, Sita Devi, and I'm not in a position to reciprocate with you. But you can take birth in Krishna's pastimes, and Krishna will reciprocate with you. So, in this way, each the Parshuram, he assumes a fierce form. He doesn't think, well, this is just a role, and after I've killed some Kshatriyas, let me dance with some cowherd girls. No. He's totally absorbed in that mood, Kshatriya mood. That's what it means to be Parshuram. You have to, I'm angry. These Kshatriyas, so-called Kshatriyas, they're causing trouble everywhere. I'll wipe them out. That's his mood. And he's absorbed in that mood. Although he's the same Krishna who's dancing with the gopis, but he's appearing in a different way. Just like this, I'm in this room, there are these light bulbs. They're all manifesting electricity, but the light bulbs are not manifesting it the same way as the refrigerator. The refrigerator, it's heating, it's cooling rather. And in the light bulbs, it's lighting. Of course, these are energy. And so the energies are handled different ways. That's the usual way that this analogy is used. But the idea is the same, that energy is one, but it's appearing in different forms. So here, even the energetic, the source of the energies, is one, and yet he appears in different forms. When he appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's in one mood, and he appears as Nityananda Prabhu, he's in a somewhat different mood. Advaita Prabhu, again, different. So Krishna in all these forms, Vishnu Tattva forms, he's the same Vishnu, but his mood is very different. His features, he looks different, he feels different, he speaks differently, he acts differently. The example is given in that, what is that? Departure eva hi dashantaram abhupecha, dipayate vrvitahetu samanatarma. Yes tadrageva hi cha Vishnu taya bhipati, govindamadi purusham tamam. As one light appears in different jewels, so Krishna is appearing in different forms. When I first joined, I had a ring, that I got in Ecuador. and it had a stone in it, semi-precious alexandrite. And under one light, the alexandrite stone appeared bluish. And under a different light, it appeared yellowish. That's the nature of that stone. It's the same stone, but in one circumstance it appears blue, in another circumstance it appears like yellow. And an observer says, no, those are two different stones. When you're in one light, you put on one ring, and another light you put on another ring. No, it's the same ring, same stone. But under different circumstances, it appears different. And that's just a stone. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is one, but he appears differently. He presents himself differently under different circumstances, and not only presents himself, but he feels different. Otherwise, how can he taste the loving dealings with Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, with the gopis, with the cowherd boys? He can't, or he doesn't feel that, no, actually, this is all just a show. He has to feel it, just as he does feel that my mother is threatening me. What am I going to do? He's feeling that. Fear himself is afraid of Krishna, but Krishna is feeling fear of Yashoda Mai. This is Krishna. He's feeling differently in relationship with different devotees. And he's appearing in different circumstances with different moods, although he's the same person. So we do that to a certain extent. We're home at the dinner table or with our family, and we're in one mood. And then the next morning, we strap on our gun and go to work as in the police department, and then we're in a different mood. I'm the same person. But when I go out, when I have dinner with my family, I have one mood. And when I go out to keep law and order, I'm in a different mood, although I'm one person. So the Krishna, he, what shall we say? He appears in all these different roles. He appears as Parshuram to wipe out the Kshatriyas. He appears as Lord Ramchandra to show the role of an ideal king. He appears as a fish, as a tortoise, as half lion, half man. When he appears as Nrsingadev, he's not thinking that, well, this is what I'm doing now, and later I'll go dance with the gopis. He's thinking that this nonsense, Hiranyakashipu, will tear him apart. He's persecuted my devotee. He's fully absorbed, so angry that Lakshmi Devi can't pacify him. Demigods can't pacify him. It's anger personified. As Krishna, he's not going to scare away the gopis. He's in a different mood. So although he's the same person, just as that gem is appearing in different colors, Krishna is appearing in different colors, with different names, different paraphernalia, different form. This is, again, opulence of Krishna. He appears in so many different ways, although he's the same person. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti. The same person who's dancing with the gopis appears as the Paramatma in the heart of every living entity. And he appears as the impersonal Brahma to the philosophers and so on. it's the same Krishna, but he's presenting himself according to the realization of the worshiper or the seeker in different roles, from ultra personal to absolutely impersonal, and with localized in between. But he's the same. What is that? Tattvama Advaya. Vedanti tat tattvavidas. Tattvam yajganam advayam. He's the same undivided spiritual knowledge personified, but realized as Brahman, as Paramatma, as Bhagavan, and presenting himself as Brahman, as Paramatma, as Bhagavan. So this is the unlimited nature of Krishna. We hear that God is unlimited, but here's some one aspect of Krishna's being, God's being unlimited, that he appears in all of these forms at the same time. At the same time that he's playing in Vrindavan as a cowherd boy, he's standing on the heart of the yogi, and he's pervading everything as the impersonal Brahman effulgence. Not a different absolute truth, the same absolute truth, but realized differently, appearing differently. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Good questions. Yes, Saraswati.
Pranams, Param Pujya Guru Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. So Guru Maharaj, when we, in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, we see sometimes he acts like Nrsingadev when he took a stick and started chasing, or sometimes he sits on the throne, or sometimes he's Lord Varha. So to a non-devotee, that sort of appears as someone who has split personality. They're slipping into these different personalities. But what's the distinction?
The distinction is that he's God. He is all these personalities. If I think that I'm God, then I have a pathological aberration. Or if I think even that I'm Napoleon or something, then that's pathology, because I'm not that. I'm this little fellow from New Jersey. I'm not Napoleon. But if Napoleon thinks he's Napoleon, that's true. And if Krishna thinks himself anything, that's true. If he thinks himself Nrsingadev, that's true. If he thinks himself Varaha, that's true. If we think of ourselves in that way, it's false. But sometimes out of appreciation or love, the devotee thinks himself to be not different from Krishna. They assume the mood of Krishna. When the gopis were feeling separation from Krishna, they began playing the pastimes of Krishna. Some gopi became Govardhan Hill, and another gopis saying, "Just see how I'm holding Govardhan Hill." So they became so mad in ecstasy of Krishna that they some of them assumed the mood of Krishna. That you nonsense bull, who do you think you are, terrorizing the devotees in Vrindavan? So they became, what would you say, identified themselves with Krishna because they were absorbed in thought of Krishna. One time I was with Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles, and with BBT devotees, and we brought Prabhupada a Bhagavatam, I think, or Back to Godhead maybe, and there was a picture of Krishna, famous picture, that Krishna is holding Nanda Maharaj's shoes on his head. He's bringing Nanda Maharaj's shoes. and Prabhupada was sitting on his bed, if I remember, but in any case, he was sitting, and he's looking at the picture, and he became absorbed and just gazing at the picture, and Prabhupada said, "Just see, I am a great hero. I have brought your shoes." So in this way, the devotee becomes so absorbed in thinking of the pastimes of Krishna that he takes on the mood of Krishna. Prabhupada knew that I'm not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he wasn't, what would you say? There was no question of pretense there, but he was so absorbed in the mood of Krishna bringing his father's shoes that he assumed that mood. The mothers may talk about the child's activities and imitate how the child is speaking in broken language or doing something else childish. She becomes absorbed in thinking of the child in that way. So she doesn't think that actually I'm not me, I'm my child, but she becomes absorbed in the mood of that child for the moment. But Krishna eternally has these, all of these different moods, the mood of Parshuram, the mood of Nrsingadev, the mood of Ramchandra, the mood of Krishna. He has all of these identities permanently. But as in the role of a devotee, he temporarily, that was the thing that I started to mention but didn't mention, he temporarily can become absorbed in a different mood. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became absorbed in the mood of Nrsingadev and was terrorizing the neighborhood. Everybody was afraid. And then later Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disturbed everyone. So the devotee sometimes becomes so absorbed in thought of a particular form of Krishna that he identifies temporarily with Krishna. But he's not under the illusion that I'm Krishna. And he's certainly not like the Sahajiyas who think, yes, I'm Krishna, and these are my gopis, let me enjoy. Not like that. But out of therefore one has to know the science, how to distinguish between pretense and genuine devotion. The Sahajiyas, it's a pretense. Really, they just want to have sex. But when Krishna becomes absorbed in a particular mood, or the devotee, even the gopis, when they're absorbed in thinking that, yes, now I'm Putana witch, and Krishna is sucking my breast, and the other gopi is playing Krishna, they become absorbed in those roles. But that's temporarily. The actor who's playing Hamlet or playing some other role, he's totally absorbed in the role. But then at the end of the play, he comes out, he takes a bow. He's not under the illusion that I'm the Prince of Denmark. But temporarily, he becomes absorbed in that mood for the sake of the play. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sometimes he becomes absorbed in the mood of Nrsingadev. Nityananda Prabhu sometimes became absorbed in the role of Lakshman. So that these are all different, as Prabhupada calls them, humors, different features of emotion. Krishna's not emotionless. He's, as the impersonal Brahma, totally devoid of emotion. There are no emotional dealings. There are no loving dealings. There's no hint of personality. He plays the role perfectly, absolute non-duality. But in his personal feature, he assumes these different feelings to enjoy reciprocating with his devotees and smashing the non-devotees. That's part of his mood. He wants to, as a king sometimes wants to fight, Krishna sometimes wants to fight. Vinashaya Chatuskrita. That's part of his mood also. That's part of his mood also. The Krishna is absolutely personal and unlimitedly personal. Unlimitedly personal. So and he's not constrained. Do you have to act like this? You have to act like that. He can assume, all right, as a king, I have to act like this, but I can become half lion and half man and act like that. So Krishna has access, you can say, to every different shade of feeling. He can assume any different kind of role and reciprocate in any possible way to please his devotees or to smash the demons. It's half lion, half man. He can assume a form like that to smash the demon. This is Krishna's unlimited opulence. And he can appear as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in 5 features. Although he's Krishna, he appears in the form of the devotee of Krishna, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he can appear in another form as the Bhaktavatar, as the incarnation, the devotional incarnation, and he can pray to Krishna, please descend, please descend. What will happen if you don't descend? Please come, loudly calling. He can appear as Nityananda Prabhu and be ordered that you don't stay here in Puri, you preach in Bengal. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's ready to kill Jayādvaita. And Nityananda Prabhu, Lord, your mission is to save Jayādvaita. Please spare them. But he's the same Krishna. But in one role, he's ready to kill them. In another role, he's pleading, please don't kill him. So he's showing different moods. Then he's showing the mood of a devotee. Gadadhar. And mood of the living entity who's engaged in devotional service is Srivas Thakur. So all of these personalities are the same personality, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but manifesting different features. On the left, he's manifesting 2 different Vishnu features. On the right, he's manifesting 2 features of energy. Gadadhar is the internal energy, and Srivas is the marginal energy. So on the right, the energies of Krishna, on the left, the Vishnu expansions. And all 5 of them are Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but manifesting himself in different ways. The Vishnu features are the full, Prabhupada says, plenary portions, Sva Amsa. And the living entity is Vibhanamsa. He's also Amsa, partial manifestation. Vishnu features are partial manifestations, but Prabhupada says plenary portion. Plenary means showing full power. And Vibhanamsa means small, tiny, separated, small expansions. But they're all just like fire. The firewood is also part of the fire. The flames are also part of the fire. The smoke is also part of the fire. All together, complete picture of fire. So Krishna expands himself or presents himself in all these different features. There's difference. Smoke is not, you're not going to heat up your khichdi on smoke. For that, you need the flames. Even on the wood, you can't heat up khichdi. The wood has to burst into flame. But the full picture of the fire, now it's Christmas, people will be sitting by the fire, and there'll be some logs there, and there'll be smoke, and there'll be flames, and there'll be sparks. So together, it's the whole postcard picture of the fire. But when you study it, you say that's just a spark, and that's the fuel. And those are the flames, and this is the smoke. So we distinguish. When you cook, you have to distinguish between the flames and the sparks and the smoke. But we know at the same time that altogether, this is the complete fire. So Krishna is the complete personality of Godhead, but he appears by presenting his Vishnu expansions and his Jiva expansions, his internal expansions. So therefore, the chapter, Lord Chaitanya in 5 features. Not this chapter, but one of the chapters. Is that okay?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. I was also thinking today being Christmas Day, some of us may have eaten a little bit too much. And I was reading about the pastime in Kamvan, where it has a lot to do with food, and how once, when Krishna used to perform these super extraordinary acts, sometimes he would say, oh, Lord Narayan gave me the Shakti. But this one particular pastime, he was a little bit ticked off because he had lost in a game with his friends, and they were doing a little victory lap around him. So he got a little ticked off. So he said, I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I can prove it. What is your wish? I can grant you your wish. So the Sakas were like, oh, we've done a lot of playing, expended too much energy. We're very hungry, and we don't think whatever lunch our parents have packed is going to be enough. We already ate half of our tiffin. So Krishna produced so much food, and the more they ate, they realized it's not even finished. It's just replenishing itself. And Krishna gave them the Shakti to eat so much and not feel that they have a stomach ache. But at the end, the friends are like, oh, we can't eat anymore. Oh, yes, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So sometimes he does disclose it as a boast. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Where's this told?
This was in Glories of Vraj from Shivram Maharaj. He wrote this 10 books on Vraj Bhumi, the glories of Vraj Bhumi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So shall we have some kirtan?
Yeah. The comment, Praveen Prabhu writes, sometimes Lord Nityananda would act like a cowherd boy.
Yes. Sometimes he took the role of Lakshman. And then he's struck by the arrow of Ravan. And he's unconscious. And all the other, what to do? This was just supposed to be a play. This is just supposed to be a drama. But now Nityananda's lost consciousness. What to do? So then someone becomes Hanuman and brings the necessary medicine, and Lord Nityananda revives. So they become absorbed in the mood of the Lord Nityananda became absorbed in his case, in his original mood, the mood of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in another of his incarnations. Yes. Sometimes cowherd boy, sometimes Lakshman. Personality of Godhead is playing in this way. Kirtan?
Krishna Konteya Prabhu, are you able to lead Kirtan?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaura, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura, Haribo, Nitai Gaura, Haribo, 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 Gora, Haribo, Nitai Gaura, Premanande, Hari Haribo.
Jai. Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivraj Acharya Stotra Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Tham Ki Jai, Navadip Tham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamana Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami Ki Jai.
Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.